a peanut feature, Mrs. Untamed feature, and a bugaboo feature, and a May feature. Okay. Oh, and a buggy feature. You know, this part right here has always bothered me, a no haggle price. I think any dealership worth their salt should have some sort of negotiation involved in it. If you have poor or subprime credit, you are typically or generally able to get approved, and that's always kind of a silver lining of a place like Carmax. Look at that, 9% with very good credit, up to 18%, double that with decent credit, fair credit, and then up to 24% with, you know, subprime credit. That is absurd, borderline criminal in my opinion. This right here gives people some good peace of mind anyway without totally breaking the bank. You know, remember when you used to be able to buy a full-size pickup truck for right about that price? Kind of crazy how times have changed. Absolutely insane. Yeah, this particular one, it needs to be in the low 20s if they actually want to move it with that type of mileage right now. Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So it has been over a month and a half since I've been to this particular Carmax. As I look around here, I can honestly tell you that there are so many of the same vehicles that were here a month and a half ago still sitting here on this particular lot. In this video, I'm going to be providing you with some staggering statistics, facts, and figures that are quite alarming. And honestly, when you puzzle it all together, it really is indicative of what is to come for the used vehicle market. So stick with me and we'll talk through it all. Now currently, Carmax's stock has already dropped quite a bit in the last month. Since April 1st, we've seen a 19% drop in their stock. Obviously that fluctuates a little bit, but that's a pretty big drop when you think about it. Year over year net income, Carmax has seen a 27% loss year over year income, and that is huge. Over the last quarter, Carmax has purchased 14% less of their vehicles, of their inventory from the consumer. You know how you normally can drive in here and get an offer on the spot? They've seen 14% less purchases from us, the individuals coming into their dealerships. But they've seen a 45% increase from the vehicles that they've been purchasing from other dealerships out there. You know, that is pretty indicative of what we're seeing right now. We see so many brand new vehicle dealerships being overflooded with inventory. We're teetering toward 3 million brand new vehicles available throughout the US, and the rate at which that is growing is quite alarming. So we are seeing a huge spike in inventory, and well, dealerships are having no choice but to slash their prices, and if that doesn't work, they have to wholesale it out to places like Carmax, and that's what we're seeing. 45% increase over the last quarter is what they ended up buying from other dealerships. Kind of crazy, huh? You know, another alarming stat is last year, the average new full-size pickup truck price is between $65,000 and $66,000. That is quite alarming, especially when you look just 5, 6, 7 years ago, we were between $40,000 and $45,000 for a full-size pickup truck. That is quite the jump. Here, I want to show you a couple, let's look at a couple of popular trucks here. We have a Raptor. Let's see, it's gonna be hard to see, but they want $34,000 for this particular Raptor with 118,000 miles on it. Let's go peek at, we got a peanut feature.
Hi guys.
Crushed it. We'll look at the Avalanche gray one here. This is a 2017, I bet. Yep, 2017 Avalanche gray, 41,000. 97,000 miles on it. I don't know, what do you think of that? Wholesale figures are down just 4 to 5% this last quarter. And when you think about it, they should be up tremendously, because what was last quarter? This last quarter was technically tax season. And a lot of dealerships, a lot of used vehicle dealerships, Carmax included, really banked on tax season, right? I mean, that's a huge opportunity to see a huge uptick in their sales. This whole lineup of Toyota Tacomas has been here throughout the last 45 days. You know, especially with, you know, the brand new 2024 Toyota Tacoma coming out, you know, it's not too uncommon to see a lot of this quote-unquote older generation kind of piling up on lots right now. Although, I would argue once the 24 becomes more prevalent with that 4-cylinder, these will become extra popular again when people miss that reliability. And the sad part is, even though this one has been here for over 2 months, both of these, this one here in particular, they did not even drop the price. We're still looking at $46,000 for this 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road with 37,000 miles. That's pretty pathetic, when especially considering you could have paid about that for this brand new. So historically, throughout the pandemic anyway, the last few years, Carmax has always been able to flick the cars that haven't been able to sell over to the auction through wholesale. But as we all know, wholesale figures are coming down quite drastically and vehicles just aren't selling in a heartbeat like they did before. So because of that, Carmax finds himself in kind of in a sticky situation. You know, they're having to slash prices, they're having to cut prices, but because Carmax is such a large company, a large organization that has shareholders to appease, they can't just slash prices left and right. They have to, get approvals for things. They can't just bring prices down. In fact, they have only seen a $600 decrease overall across the board on average for all their vehicle inventory, but they have kept their profit margin about the same, about $2,200 per unit per vehicle. And one crazy thing is Carmax, they're quite known for having a lot of very lightly used vehicles, oftentimes having less than 60,000 miles on it. One thing I am noticing as I walk this lot though is there are a lot of newer vehicles. I'm talking 2022, 2023, and 24 models all sitting on the lot, and that is really indicative of them buying 45% more of their vehicles from dealerships. A lot of the dealerships have very lightly used vehicle options, often even demo models that they're kicking off through wholesale. And this right here might be an example of it. Let's check it out. We have a 2022 Subaru Forester with only 11,000 miles on it for $35,000. I don't know, how do you feel about that? And that's exactly what we're seeing right here. This is a 2023 Toyota Prius XLE with only 1,000 miles on the odometer, and they want $39,000 for it. What do you think? I mean, would you buy a lightly used Prius for that price? Or would you just, buck up just a few dollars more than that, truly a few bucks more, and get a brand new one? So over on this side, we find the luxury SUV market, which I always kind of find a little interesting because we all know that historically speaking, even before the pandemic, luxury SUVs tend to take the largest depreciation right out the first 2 years of ownership. So I'm always interested to see what they want for these. A nice Porsche here I wanted to show you, a 2020 Cayenne Coupe for $58,000 and 38,000 miles on it. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see, guys. Hopefully you get a good idea there. Definitely a sleek looking ride, but is it worth that kind of coin right now? I'd argue against it. Now we have the Untamed family size segment over here with the full-size SUVs. Got some Suburbans, have the Ford Expedition over there. Let's look at this one. We've got a Yukon Denali over here. $39,000 for this 2018 Chevy Suburban 1500 LT. So a pretty bare bones model here, really. 55,000 miles. Is it worth $39,000 more? I would argue if we want to actually move this, they need to get closer to $33,000, $34,000. A saving grace for Carmax always has been if you have poor or subprime credit, you are typically or generally able to get approved. And that's always kind of a silver lining of a place like Carmax. Sometimes that serves to your own detriment because you get hit with a pretty awful interest rate. But, unlike buying a brand new vehicle from Carmax, you can actually get approved for something. So we have 90,000 miles on this 2012 Ford Explorer XLT, and they want 17 grand for it. This part right here has always bothered me, a no haggle price. I think any dealership worth their salt should have some sort of negotiation involved in it. It gives people peace of mind because they feel like they're getting the best possible deal, but in reality, in current times, Carmax is absolutely overpriced, and we all know that. We got a whole family feature. We got a peanut feature, Mrs. Untamed feature, and a bugaboo feature, and a May feature. Okay. Oh, and a buggy feature. Now, minivans is always kind of an interesting segment, right? The Honda Odyssey over here generally holds a really good resale value. This particular Chrysler Pacifica, though, has not sold well at all, largely because it's a Chrysler, of course, but I don't know. I mean, they look pretty nice, but is this 2017 Pacifica Limited with 81,000 miles worth $22,000? Take note, it is only a two-wheel drive, not an all-wheel drive like you would find with options in the Sienna, of course. Then when you compare it to the older Honda Odyssey over here, what are we looking at? We're looking at about not too far off on the price tag, right? $17,000 for a much older Honda Odyssey EXL with 108,000 miles on it. I mean, right there is a testament of Honda reliability and just giving you great peace of mind and offering that great resale value. Options like this Ford Maverick have become increasingly popular over the last couple of years. Not because it's an amazing vehicle by any means, but because it's affordable. It is doable, right? You still get the utility of having a truck bed at the end of the day, but still, it comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it is remotely affordable at $36,000. This one's gonna be close to new. Yep, 8,000 miles on this particular Lariat. You know, this right here gives people some good peace of mind anyway without totally breaking the bank. You know, remember when you used to be able to buy a full-size pickup truck for right about that price? Kind of crazy how times have changed. And the new full-size pickup truck segment has become increasingly difficult to sell inventory for. We see dealerships at new vehicle manufacturers offering huge incentives on their new inventory because new inventory has skyrocketed. Like I mentioned before, we're teetering toward 3 million brand new vehicles available across the US, which is starting to teeter toward pre-pandemic levels. But that's not the concerning part. The concerning part is how rapidly we have got back to 3 million. This time last year, we're looking at 1.5 million new vehicles available across the US. So it has skyrocketed up, so dealers are having no choice but to truly incentivize the crud out of their deals. Whether that's offering 0% interest rates, 1.9% interest rates, slashing 10-15% off of MSRP just to move that inventory. And well, where does that leave the used vehicle inventory? It's all a ripple effect, right? They need to slash prices of used vehicles even more. But for an organization like Carmax, they don't make drastic changes like that in a heartbeat. It takes them a lot more time to actually sell and actually drop prices across the board. They can't just do it overnight, but they should. Let's show the old Tundra some love here. We have a 2012 Toyota Tundra with 127,000 miles on it. This particular example, and they want $22,000 for it. I tell you what, if you were to look at the brand new MSRP of this particular one here, I bet you're not going to be too much higher than that particular price. You might be maybe 30,000, low 30s for this particular example. So only Toyota can manage to do that. Pretty incredible. And the Nissan Titan, I always kind of have a soft spot for this truck because it is, in my opinion, really one of the very few last of the dying breed. You got a 5.6 liter V8 in this particular one. And it just feels old school and raw, and I appreciate that. Everything has just gotten so advanced, so tech-filled, so overdone with creature comfort, so I really appreciate the simplicity of these Nissan Titans. But they're hard to sell new, right? I mean, new Nissan dealerships are having a tough time selling their Titans at the moment, so being able to move used inventory would be 10 times harder right now, especially at the prices that they want. Let's check it out. So this one here is a 2017 Nissan Platinum Reserve with 94,000 miles on it, and they want 30 grand. That is crazy. Absolutely insane. Yeah, this particular one, it needs to be in the low 20s if they actually want to move it with that type of mileage right now. Because you can go get a brand new one of these, a 2024, you can easily get $10,000 to $15,000 off of MSRP right now with an exceptional interest rate. And here at Carmax, you're looking at interest rates like this. Hopefully you can get a good eye on it. Look at that, 9% with very good credit, up to 18%, double that with decent credit, fair credit, and then up to 24% with subprime credit. That is absurd, borderline criminal in my opinion. Let's check out a couple of their 4Runners in the 4Runner section here. Let's look at this one for fun. What do we got? We have a 2020 Toyota 4Runner Nightshade with 61,000 miles and $42,000. No thank you. This particular one, brand new, was less than $48,000. So kind of crazy that they want just a small amount less with that type of mileage on it. No thank you. Not to mention, you can go to any Toyota dealership right now and they're really incentivizing their 4Runners, right? Because we just saw the brand new 6th generation 4Runner unveiling from Toyota. So that means, well, people are going to wait for that new one. So these are really going to start collecting on lots. Really until August, September timeframe, people start to get FOMO of, well, they're going to, the fear of missing out on the reliable, trusty V6 here. These will then begin to sell like hotcakes come August or September. So what do you guys think? What does Carmax need to do in order to turn the ship around? And I say ship on purpose because it is such a large organization. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort for them to make pretty monumental changes. Monumental changes that they need to make right now. They need to be slashing the prices of their inventory here because I should not be seeing the same exact vehicles that I saw a month and a half ago. That's absurd, really. So what do you think needs to happen? What do you think is going to happen? They need to start cutting their losses sooner than later. At this point, they're almost behind the ball, right? The entire market has taken a huge downward swing and they're not keeping up with it. And we see that with their stock right now, right? They're down 19% over the last 3 weeks. And well, I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better for Carmax. So let me know what your thoughts are. So we really should never see a bunch of lightly used Toyota RAV4s all available for sale. Because if you do, what is that an indicator of? That's an indicator of them being wildly overpriced. And we see a whole lineup of them here at this Carmax here. Lightly used, all of them are under 30,000 miles. So Carmax, you need to slash your prices. You need to come down another 10% if you want to move your inventory. Losing a little bit more now up front will hurt you a lot less in the long run. All right, I think I found the most affordable vehicle on this particular lot, and it is this 2013 Nissan Sentra SV for $11,600. This particular example has 125,000 miles. How about that? And over here we have the very small and dwindling EV section. Even Carmax knows that EVs are a dying segment right now, especially, I mean, the people are not buying them. We saw Ford cut production of the Ford Mustang Mach-E entirely. For the month of March, they produced 0 Mustang Mach-E's. We have a 2014 Chevy Volt here with 90,000 miles and $13,000 for it. So right here, a dying segment, and Carmax, well, they're smart enough to know that anyway. And this right here is the repossession side of the house with the sports cars. People often buy them, quickly realize how expensive they are, how fast they depreciate, and then look at their insurance payments going through the roof because, well, they're high performance sports cars, oftentimes coupes. I actually had this particular ZL1 before, if you guys remember. I had a 2019. This one is a 2018 with 33,000 miles on it for $56,000. I don't know, what do you think about that deal? Check out this Toyota here. Kind of crazy to see this on a Carmax lot. 2023 Corolla GR Core for $42,000. MSRP is right at $44,000 for this one, and this one comes with 8,000 miles on it. What do you think? Alright guys, we'll wrap up the video there. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. Hopefully you find some value to it. I don't just do this to pick on Carmax, right? I want Carmax to succeed. I want them to make positive changes for you, the consumer. You know, these deals right here, they're not fair. They're not fair in the current market right now, and Carmax knows it too, but they're just behind the ball. They're not making changes fast enough, and I want them to. I want them to make a change and hopefully get that stock back up for them, help them out as a company at large. So let me know what your honest thoughts are. Let me know if you appreciate this type of content, and as always guys, if you haven't already done so already, please consider liking and subscribing. Always feel ugly asking that, but it does help out the channel tremendously, and I certainly appreciate it. Until next time. Is that yummy, May May?